review of the first Black 9v9 game of the season. And so, hey, there is a lot to learn from this game. This was our first game, 9v9. We had a handful of new players, some of which haven't played 9v9 yet, so it's a bigger field. Team is a year older. They're a little bigger, stronger, faster. So there's a lot to learn from this game. So we're going to jump right into it. And what you're going to notice is a lot of the same themes here. So we're going to start off with, we talk about pressure, why it's so important to put pressure on these players. So we're going to see what it looks like when we do not put pressure on the team. So here they have all the time in the world to get their head up and find the open man. If we give them that much time and space, these teams are going to find their open players. So again, time and space, slow to pressure, and you can see how quickly they can attack us, get a ball across, and create goal-scoring opportunities. So we want to be cautious throughout this video of the difference between when we pressure and when we don't. Here's a good example of when we pressure. So Nick is highlighted. He is going to apply pressure quickly and see what happens here. Look at that. He puts pressure, forces the mistake in the turnover here. Again, a nice little bit of skill from Jake, beats the player, and we're on the attack. So you can see the difference between when we pressure and when we're skillful, when we win the ball, versus when we dribble without a plan or without options. So there's a lot of times we get the ball, we get our head down, and we just start dribbling. We try to muscle our way through these kids. You can see they're bigger. They do a good job marking us up. When we try to just put our head down and muscle through, most of the time we're not going to win those battles. We got to be skillful, and you'll see the difference. So here, a little bit too much time and space on these two players. Again, a lot of time. Even though we had a lot of red shirts around there, we were not putting the pressure. And so then they can create opportunities. Versus when we do put a little bit of pressure, get our head up and start moving the ball. Here's an example of defensively, and this is something that happens a few times every game where we just have trouble getting rid of the ball or getting it out of the box. So here it's like 4 or 5 people touch the ball and try to get it out, and we just can't get it out of the box. And ultimately, it leads to a shot on goal. This is a good example of, again, some really good pressure from Nick up front to cause mistakes. Look at what happens here. He's able to steal the ball and causes a turnover. And then Aiden is able to step in, read that ball. Nice little pass to John. But then here, you'll see what happens is we kind of get our head down. We don't have a plan. We're not being skillful. We don't have any options out wide. And so we're forced to dribble through 2, 3 shirts until we lose the ball. Here you'll see that it's a 4-on-1. So we got 4 red shirts around 1 white shirt. In these types of situations, we have to be able to come out with the ball. We can't let them win it like that when we have numbers. Here's going to be another example of why it's so important to spread out. We tended to be so bunched up in this game that we don't give ourselves options. You can see here, John had the right idea. He was trying to go out wide, but we were so bunched up. We have 6 red shirts in this tiny little space versus 4 white shirts. Again, we had numbers 6-on-4, and they still got a shot off on us. So defensively, we have to make sure that we are marking them tightly and not giving them that space. Here's another example, what we just talked about, marking tight and goal side. You can see the guy in the back there highlighted. Nobody's on him. Fortunately, a bad touch, but that could have been an easy goal. Again here, we are giving a lot of time and space to these white shirts. And they're going to do a good job finding the open feet like that. Nice little step in by Tate. But again, no options once we win the ball because we're also bunched up in the middle of the field. And again, it's going to be a theme throughout this whole game, guys. You can see how bunched up we are in the middle. There's nobody out wide for when we win the ball. There will be some examples later on when we are out wide, and you'll see the difference. Here we go again, a little bit slow to pressure. We're goal side, but not quite touch tight here. So they got a lot of time to make a cross. Look at John. He's in perfect position here. He's goal side, touch tight, and he's able to step in and win the ball. So there's the difference, right? Look at that. Good position, good pressure, wins the ball, almost creates a counter for us. Here's a good example of what happens when we do dribble, but we have a plan and we're skillful. So, we want to be able to dribble, we want to be able to beat people, but we have to have a plan and we have to be skillful to do it. So here's a nice little step over, and you'll see he gets that extra step he needs, and he's off. So when we're skillful and creative, we're able to make things happen. When we put our head down and try to muscle through, not so much. Here you'll see, again, when we pressure versus not. So here, we're not really pressuring this player with the ball at all. Even though we have red shirts around him, nobody's quick to pressure. So he has time, space, gets his head up, finds the open man. There's a little bit better pressure, so we force them backwards. And again, we're in the right position. Right now we have a little bit too much space. Everybody's goal side, so that's good, but nice little save by Wyatt. So hopefully you guys are starting to see the difference between applying pressure and not, and when we're positioned correctly. So here you can see we're goal side, but we're way goal side. We're just too much space to where when they win the ball, they have time to do exactly that. Just enough time to turn, take a shot. Versus if we're marked touch tight, that may not happen. Again, you have two people here in the middle of the field. Nobody's on them. Look at the distance between them. So we're giving them a lot of time and space to make things happen. So they win the ball. And look at that. He's going to have 3 different options to go to at the top of our box. So very, very dangerous. We have to be able to recognize when people are that wide open. And again, here's going to be another example from John. You're going to see a little bit of skill here. He's going to hit the scissors, explode, beats one, does it again, beats a second. So John had a plan. I'm going to beat a couple players. I'm going to get the ball out wide, and all of a sudden we're on a counterattack. That's fantastic. Well done. Here we get caught chasing. So again, all these teams, they spend all their time just with passing drills. They're going to be able to find feet. 1-touch, 2-touch passing. There's 1-touch. There's a 2-touch pass. So we get caught up chasing because we're not marked up goal side and touch tight. But then when we are, look at that, we win it, right? When we're in the right position, we make it hard on them. When we give them time and space, that's really all they need to start making us chase them. Here, we kept trying to dribble into pressure, just right down the middle, and it didn't work too well. So here, it's 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3, and here we go right down the middle again. When we dribble into that pressure and all those bodies, it makes it really hard, especially if we're not being skillful or we don't have a plan. And that was happening a lot this game. We're turning the ball over instead of getting our head up and trying to find a player out wide. So here we have Jake out wide, trying to spread the field a little bit. Eventually it makes its way out wide. A little bit of skill, beats him down the field. You can see this now. We're creating opportunities. Get a cross off. So you can see how that happened, right? We get the ball out wide, we beat them down the line, and then we're able to get some crosses off. Here, this is just an example of a free kick, and want to make sure that we're all staying even with the wall on these free kicks, that we're not allowing them to stay on sides, right? We want to push everybody up even with the wall so that they don't get easy rebounds off of us. Again, during this game, there was a lot of this, we'd win the ball and just try to muscle our way through. You can see that, it didn't work that well. That was a 1 red shirt versus 2 white shirts. The ball pops loose. We try to do it again. Doesn't work. And we try to do it again. You can see just how many bodies are in the middle of the field, right? It makes it very, very hard to dribble through that many bodies, especially when they're a little bit bigger than us. And then I think this is Jonas here who wins the ball and says, you know what, this isn't working. Let's see if we get it out wide. Look at that, gets it out wide. We get a shot on goal. Here's a really good example. Drew putting on some pressure. So look at this. Drew immediately pressures the pass, forces a mistake. He's just got to kick it out right to us. So when we don't give him time and space, we force the turnovers. That's what we want. Here's another example, dribbling into pressure versus getting the ball out wide. So you can see Mac gets the ball out wide. Great idea. A little bit of skill. But then we don't have anybody else to pass it to, right? So this is an opportunity. Maybe we make a run down the line. Maybe we get our head up and try to get across. All of a sudden, we're 1-on-2. And we create a possible counter situation. So I love this, Drew. This was fantastic. Again, boys, the difference between being skillful and having a plan. Look at this. Drew had a plan. Boom. Nice little skill. Gets his head up, finds the pass. If you remember, it's super windy that day, so the ball just kind of carried away, but that was absolutely brilliant. Good skill, good head up. A little unlucky on the pass. Again, look at what happens when we get our head up instead of just trying to muscle our way through when we win the ball. So this is Aiden, steps in, gets his head up, says, you know what, there's 2 shirts on me. Let me get my head up. Switch fields. Brilliant ball to Jake. Jake's going to try and take it down the line. A little bit of skill. Gets his head up. Says, oh, let me switch it again. Unlucky there. Drew's there to clean it up. Gets it out wide again. Creates a shot on goal. Look at that. Almost went in. Hopefully you can see the difference now between just trying to muscle straight through the middle of the field and then getting our head up and getting it wide. Again, this will be a quick little example of what happens when we try to just dribble through 2-3 shirts without a plan, without skill. It just wasn't working out well for us, and it typically won't, especially when we're playing up a year. So here's an example. I think this is Max is going to win the ball. Gets his head up, 1 touch out of the back. Perfect. Out wide to feet. Little bit of skill, head up. Jake sees that there's space, goes for the switch. Nice ball to feet, and all of a sudden we create a 1-on-1, and it looks a lot different, right? We're creating opportunities, we're creating 1-on-1s. We're not trying to dribble through 2 or 3 white shirts in the middle of the field. So big difference. So here, we'll see what happens when we get our head up again. Jake with a nice little read. Jonas, look at this, brilliant. Jonas has his hand up, says, hey, I want the ball. I want it in front of me. Jake sees it. Nice little through ball right to his feet. Wonderful first touch by Jonas. I thought he got fouled here. We didn't get the call, but you can see we're creating opportunities and how different that looks. Wyatt with a big save. Wyatt had some really big saves, several of them this game. That was just one. And then again, guys, we have to be able to clear the ball defensively. So here we have 4 red shirts to 1. You can see they have 1 white shirt wide open in the back. Aiden recognizes, pulls into position, but we have our chances to clear the ball. We just don't. And this time it costs us a goal. So again, I'm going to pause it here. Hopefully, guys, we learned from this. It was first game of the season. It was our first 9v9. It was some new faces on the team. But, boys, I thought we had our opportunities. And if we can learn from this video, if we can learn to be skillful when we get the ball instead of head down and muscle through, if we can learn to spread the field and get the ball out wide, if we can learn these few little things, of pressure quick, it'll completely change the outcome of these games. So, watch this a couple times. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in at the bottom here telling me what you've learned from the video. Look forward to hearing from you, boys. See you soon. That's it. Bye.